Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another exciting Star Wars news update. We have some massive news coming out of Deadline. So you know it's official, it's not the rumour mill, Disney and Lucasfilm have refused comment, but it seems pretty legit. Now here's the thing, if it weren't for Lucasfilm's track record, I think everyone would be very excited. Well, marginally. What am I talking about? According to Deadline, Simon Kinberg, known for his work on X-Men, The 355, Haunting in Venice, The Martian, Deadpool, Fantastic Four, is going to write and produce a brand new Star Wars trilogy. Now the reason I'm saying we shouldn't get too excited despite the immense talent that Lucasfilm is deciding to work with is because how many trilogies, movies, spin-offs, video games, shows have been announced but cancelled? This is another vague, humongous announcement with nothing behind it. We have no trailer, no story or concept announced for this. And the way Deadline worded doesn't even sound like it's a priority for Lucasfilm, because they say it's going to sit alongside the upcoming movies by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, Taika Waititi, Donald Glover, and James Mangold. So it's just another vague announcement for an upcoming movie trilogy. But what they do say is they've heard this is going to be episodes 10 to 12. So for those who thought after the Rise of Skywalker, the Skywalker saga is done, it's a 3-trilogy saga, episodes 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, and then everything afterwards, including trilogies, is going to be a fresh new start. Well, it looks like we were wrong, because this is going to be a new trilogy that continues the Skywalker saga. Is this the big news Daisy Ridley was teasing a week or so ago? I'm gonna say no, and I'll tell you why. Because her movie isn't part of this. That's right. Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy's Rey movie is a standalone, and has nothing to do with this one. I don't know what the plan is, what they're thinking, but now we have 4 sequel-era movies to come. Rey movie, and then episodes 10, 11 and 12, presumably with opening crawls, that's what Kathleen Kennedy says, this time written and produced by Simon Kinberg. Silver lining is that it's going to have one vision, or so we think, until maybe he leaves due to creative differences. It's really tough to get hyped about this. Usually with Star Wars announcements we have a lot to talk about, but Lucasfilm deciding to double down on this, double down on the sequel trilogy era, is a really baffling choice. It's one thing to have a standalone Rey movie, but another trilogy following episode 9. Do fans really want this? I think I know the answer. Well, it's worth noting, Kinberg previously worked with Lucasfilm in co-creating Star Wars Rebels, alongside Dave Filoni and Carrie Beck, so he has got some franchise experience. But he is now being tasked with the heavy burden of creating a new trilogy out of the ashes of J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson's work. He's also attached to produce Paramount's Star Trek movie directed by Toby Haynes, so in the space opera and sci-fi genres, he's got a lot on his hands. The Donald Glover Lando movie has no update, but according to Deadline, it is still going ahead. Same with the Rey movie, and surprisingly, same with Taika Waititi's film. Each of the movies presumably will still have different directors, because Kinberg is just writing and producing, but that, in and of itself, is a massive improvement. It tells us there is one coherent vision. Is it a sign of change, or am I being too optimistic? I also just want to say, the fact this is going to be episodes 10, 11 and 12 is just speculative. Their source seems to think so, but it's not confirmed. They say, I heard this will comprise episodes 10 to 12 of the Skywalker saga that began with George Lucas's 1977 A New Hope. But they do add the caveat, insiders disputed this intel, that Kinberg will continue that storyline, saying this will instead begin a new saga and sit alongside Star Wars projects that are in the works. So, because Disney and Lucasfilm refuse to comment, it's hard to know what's true and what's just speculative. I think they're making a huge mistake if it's episodes 10 to 12. They should just start anew, pick one of the movies already slated that hasn't begun production, and turn that into a trilogy. Why not make Dawn of the Jedi a mini-saga? There are so many stories to tell at the start of that timeline. It seems to me Lucasfilm wanted someone comfortable in the franchise sphere, because he's produced on Marvel, Sherlock Holmes, he produced the Agatha Christie film trilogy, so you can see why Lucasfilm went to him. And believe it or not, this isn't the first time I've heard episodes 10, 11 and 12 are going to be made. I just didn't believe it. And here's a little juicy scoop. This is something I've heard has been 6 years in the making. They've had ideas for another trilogy after 7, 8 and 9, since pretty much before Investor Day, since even The Rise of Skywalker came out. But with Lucasfilm, there are always ideas being circulated, the story group is always active, but only some things get announced, and an even smaller percentage of those get made and produced. I believe this news, I think it is something Lucasfilm wants to do, but if it's concrete, it's a different story. They haven't got a good track record, my dear friends. Shall we see how some Star Wars fans reacted to this? It's quite entertaining. Let's dive in. There is some excitement, some apathy, and some skepticism. Looks like the Force has pulled Simon Kinberg back in. Another trilogy? At this rate, the Star Wars universe is expanding faster than the actual universe. Can't wait to see what new planets, characters, and plot twists he's cooking up. Maybe even a new Skywalker cousin twice removed. One thing's for sure, Star Wars fatigue clearly isn't in Lucasfilm's vocabulary. Well, obviously they want to make money. I think there is definitely Star Wars fatigue amongst fans. The apathy after The Acolyte, and even for Skeleton Crew, is something like I've never seen before. Some fans are pretty much used to the regular cycle of Lucasfilm announcements and cancellations. This one says, Kinberg's Star Wars film trilogy cancellation announcement coming soon. I'm not even kidding when I say, I fully expect it, I'm not joking. Give it a year, and we'll get Kinberg trilogy put on hold. Problems at Lucasfilm, creative differences being the cause. I'll believe it when I see it. I agree with this. While exciting to think about, what about the films already announced? This is the most frustrating thing for me. When you're talking about a project like Lando, are they just leading Donald Glover on? The original guy who was making the movie got fired, the Glover brothers took over, and now it's going to be a movie instead of a Disney Plus show. But it was announced nearly 4 years ago. It's insane to me Lucasfilm is just announcing more and more, and not coming out and saying, well, remember these projects? They're not happening. They want to keep their options open, they don't like doing that. So they just tell us it's vaguely coming at some point in the future when the director is ready. Amazingly, that's still the case with Rian Johnson's trilogy, by the way. His writing credits are significantly more misses than hits. Rebels also never took off with viewers. I personally agree with the first bit, but disagree with the second part, because Star Wars Rebels definitely had a legacy. Even though viewership at the time was bad, it's grown so much. It's my favourite animated show, so maybe I'm biased, but the legacy of Rebels is still alive. Kinberg's involvement with that show is actually a positive, because to my mind, that means he understands Star Wars. This person says he'll exit the project within 2 years. I guess we'll find out. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts on this breaking news in the comments down below. I actually posted another video earlier today, so go and check that one out, about Ahsoka Season 2. If you enjoyed this one, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, check me out on socials, and I'll see you in the next video. I've got a big treat this weekend. May the Force be with you, always.